Classmates, let's start the class. Today we are going to learn how to import external resources during the development process of a UniApp project. It is often necessary to reference various external files, such as image files used in program development. These external files are usually placed in the static folder under the root directory, or the static folder under the src directory. To import these external files into the project, path references are needed. It might seem simple, but in actual operation, there are many things to be aware of. The following will be divided into 3 parts to learn how to import external resources. First, let's take a look at how to import static resources in the template. Static resources can be imported within the template tags using relative or absolute paths. For example, when importing resources for attributes, like src of tags such as image and video, relative or absolute paths can be used. When using absolute paths, static refers to the static folder in the root directory. If the project directory is created using CLI, static will be in the static folder under the src directory. This is an absolute path. This is a relative path. Let's take a look at an example. In this case, this is an absolute path. Using it like this is a relative path. This one is also using an absolute path. Everyone, please note, the use of @notes an absolute path and relative paths undergo base 6.4 conversion rules for verification. Static resources imported on non-H5 platforms will not be converted to base 6.4 format. In Alipay mini programs, image tags cannot use relative paths, so generally, absolute paths should be used. Next, let's take a look at the second part. How to import JS files and plugins. When referencing JS files within the script tag, relative and absolute paths can be used. Let's take a look. This is referencing an absolute path. This one is using a relative path. These are all for importing JS files. Through this method, components can also be imported. This component is located in that common directory called mibutton. This is the component to be imported. After importing the component, it needs to be registered. After registration, the component can be used. Look at mibutton. This is importing a component. You can also import plugins. Let's see. This is importing a plugin called UniCalendar. If you want to use the plugin, you should click on Plugin Installation under that Tools menu. Then, on the Install New Plugin page, click on Go to Plugin Market for installation. In the plugin market, search for what you want. For example, if you want to search for calendar, click the search button. When you see the calendar plugin, you can directly use it in Builderx. Just import the sample project, or directly download and import the plugin. After that, it will be downloaded to the uni_modules directory, and you can use the plugin directly. This usage is very simple. Let's take a look at the usage of JS files. For example, here we are using our JS file. These are two calculation objects, and in fact, they reference the same file, which is the calc file. You can see that it calculates the sum of two numbers. So how do we use it? We use calc_or calc1. When we click these two calculation buttons, it is used. Click the calculate button, and you can see the calculation results. The sum of 3 and 5 is 8. After clicking, the calculation will be performed. This is the usage of the JS file we imported. Using custom components is also very simple. For example, the MyButton component. This is an imported component. When clicked, it will count how many times it has been clicked. It has a slot. Let's see how to use it. You see, MyButton. Inside the slot, place the text, button only and button 2. Click button only 3 times and button 12 times respectively. This is how to use a custom component. The usage of the plugin is straightforward, just follow the example. After clicking, we directly confirm and get the complete date. You see, when we click this button to open the calendar plugin will open. After selecting a date inside, then clicking confirm, we will obtain our current date, which is stored in the data value variable. This is how to import our JS files. Import components and use plugins. Now, let's take a look at how to import static resources in the mini program. For the style tag, when we import a CSS file, we can use either relative or absolute paths. For example, here we can see that an absolute path is used. Import in the uni CSS file under the common directory. Let's see how it's used. Here, we can see the text displaying the result. Now, when we click calculate, this text displaying the result uses the uni title style. In the current index view file, let's see if this style is present. This style is not present in the current file. So where is this style? It is in the uni CSS file. Therefore, it uses the style from there. For example, if we change the font size from 12 to 30, you can see that the text becomes noticeably larger. This is how we import static resources in the style tag. In the process of project development, apart from one's own code, the importing of external resources is also indispensable. Therefore, it is essential to proficiently master the ways to import external resources in various situations. Today, we learned how to import external resources and studied the resource paths in Uni App. This class ends here. Thank you, everyone.